All right, let's do this. Simple interest. I will glam these up and put you a glammed up version in Google Classroom if you want to glam them up. But let's just get the notes on them. You do need to get these cut and put into your O&G. Okay. Interest is money paid or earned for the use. Interest is money paid or earned for the use of money. In other words, interest is money paid or earned when somebody is using your money, like a bank. When you put your money in the bank in a savings account and it earns interest, what the bank is actually doing is paying you to keep your money in their bank. Okay? That's how they make their money. And that's what the interest is money that the bank gets paid, or that you get paid. If they're paying you interest, it's what you get paid for you using their savings account. Okay? You also pay interest on if you go and buy a car. You're going to pay interest on that car. So if you pay $6,000 for a vehicle, and then you're going to pay 2% interest, what you're actually doing there is you're paying the bank to loan you money. You go to the bank and you say, I need to borrow $6,000. Well, they are like, okay, I'll give you $6,000, but what am I going to get? Well, you're going to pay them interest on that $6,000 so that you can borrow their money. Okay, so you're paying the bank money if if you've borrowed money.
So interest will be like less of a lower amount of what you're paying.
It's a percentage of what you're paying, and it depends. And I'll be honest with you, when you're borrowing money, your credit score determines your interest. So when you start thinking about getting grown and getting credit cards and getting things out there, or getting a car loan and then defaulting on that car, not paying your car loan like you're supposed to, and that hurts your what they call your credit score, and your credit score will determine how good of an interest rate you can get when you buy a house or when you buy a car. So just keep that in mind, because that's something you want to kind of protect that. The principal is the amount of money borrowed or deposited. So if I go to the bank and I say, okay, I want to borrow $6,000 to buy a car, that's the principal amount. Okay, that's your principal, the initial amount. Okay, so let's put that up here. That's our initial amount. So the principal is your initial amount. That you either borrow or deposit. Okay, so if I go and put $4,000 into a savings account, the initial amount is how much I put in to start with. Okay, that's your principal. If you look over at the bridge map over here, and those of you that are on video, I'll put a picture of it. But right here, interest is the money you pay to borrow money or paid to you on an investment. Principal means the actual amount of money borrowed or invested. Rate means the percent paid to you or you pay. Okay, that's your percentage rate. And then the time is the amount of time in years that you're borrowing or investing. Okay? The other thing that you need to keep in mind is the rate has to always be written as a decimal. It's going to be given to you as a percent, and you've got to change that percent to a decimal. To do that, you either divide it by 100, or move the decimal 2 places to the left. Okay? When you move the decimal 2 places to the left, you are actually dividing by 100. Time has to always be in years. Look at this bridge map. 18 months is 1.5 years. It's 1.5 years. 12 months is a year. 9 months is 3/4 of a year, or 0.75 of a year. 6 months is half of a year. Okay? 3 months is 1/4 of a year. So when you're reading these problems, if it tells you you're borrowing money for 18 months, when you get ready to figure the interest or the simple interest, you've got to put that into years. Okay? It has to be put into years. Any questions so far? The formula for this.
Are we going to get higher than 18 months in this?
It might go 20. Sometimes you might see something that's 24 months. The other months that you might see might be 24, 60. 60 months is 5 years. 24 months is 2 years.
As long as you just know, like.
You just multiply it by 12. You would multiply your months by 12 to figure out. But 60 months is a real common for borrowing money if you're buying a car. 5 years is usually the length of a car loan if it's a brand new car. Here's the formula. Interest equals principal times rate times time. I equals PRT. All you're doing is multiplying. Principal equals rate times time. This is not hard. All right, so finding the interest rate earned. So right here, this gives you the principal was $500, the rate was 3%. Notice that is in a percent. This 3% right here has to be written as a decimal. So we're going to take that 3, we move that decimal 2 places to the right, which is actually dividing it by 100 to get our decimal. And then 3 years. And then you're substituting. 500 goes in for P. There's your P. There's your 500. Do you see that? Not that one, but this one. There's your T. There's your T. And now look, the T's on the end there, but we put it in the middle. Does that matter? Or that's your rate. I'm sorry, that's your rate. I'm sorry. Let me do that again. Sorry. So here's my 500. 500 is my principal. It goes there. Here's my rate, 0.03. Here's my rate. Here's my rate. Here's my time. Here's my time. Here's my time. You're just plugging those in. Does that make sense? Huh? Mm-hmm. The interest is $45. Okay? Now, let me see something. I really want to work this one. I want to work this one again so you can see what's happening. I don't want to just go with what's right there because I want you to see what's happening. If I had a label, but find you a place somewhere. I tell you what, I'm gonna give you a sticky note. And I just want to rework that one. Just put this over. I'm gonna take one and pass it back.
How do you get your answer? Like, how did
I'm getting there. Take one. On where? On the first one?
Yeah, on 45. Like, how did you get 45?
Multiply those numbers.
Multiply what number?
500 times 0.03 times 3.
Okay.
You just put it in the calculator. Just multiplying. That's it. I equals PRT is I times P. That is I equals P times R times T.
So you can just put it in the calculator exactly like that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Or you can put it in the calculator with the multiplication symbols between it.
Okay.
You don't have to put it in the calculator as parentheses.
If we ever have to find rate, do we
Brittany, shh. Give me a minute. That's where I'm going. All right, take them, sticky note, pass them back. Take one and pass. Did you take one and pass it back? take one and pass it back. And then give me, and then just hold on to, stick the extras to the side of your desk. Does everybody have one? Take one and pass it back. Alright? So, I'm going to work this one right here. Alright, so I equals PRT. We are just, that's multiplication. You can put parentheses, you can put dots, okay? But you put it right into the calculator. But now look at this second, this B. It says find the annual interest rate. Find the annual interest rate. And that's, I do not want you to get yourself all worked up over something. You ready? Pay attention to what I'm doing. I. It told me that my I was 100. That my P is 1,000. And that my T is 4 years. Okay? That's just what's on the paper. My Now I'm just going to insert. You ready? I'm just going to insert. So, this I right here, I'm putting 100 in for I. This P right here, I'm putting 1,000 in for P. I don't have an R, and my T is 4. Okay? Does everybody see where those numbers came from and all that? Are we good right now? Questions? Anybody? Okay. Just looking over here for a minute. I want you, don't even look over there. I want to ask you something. If I had that equation right there, how would you solve it? 100 equals 4R. Brittany?
You would divide 100 by 4, and you get R.
I would, right. Why am I dividing by 4?
Because you don't have your R.
Because 100 is the, division is the opposite of multiplication.
The inverse, right, the inverse. So this is being multiplied, right? Is everybody with me? Boom, you good, you good? You wait?
Yeah.
We live. So we would divide by 4. Everybody's clear on that? Huh? Nobody has an issue with that. Everybody feels good about that. Alright? Hold that in the back of your brain somewhere. That was just a little teaser to let you know that you do know what you're doing right here. Okay?
Wait, I said 100 divided by
You don't have to do all that. I just wanted you to I wanted you to see you can do what I'm about to do. Alright? Because all I'm doing right here, this is multiplication. We know we can multiply in any order, right? So I can take that 1,000 and that 4 and go ahead and multiply them together. Right? I could rewrite this. I could rewrite this as 4 times 1,000 times R. Couldn't I? Does everybody see that? Does that make sense to you? Raise your hand if you need.
Could we swap, like in the actual order, could we swap the T and the P and stuff? Or would they have to stay the same?
Like, could you have written this P times T times R? Mm-hmm. Because the commutative property lets you move multiplication around however you want to, and it doesn't change the answer, does it?
No.
So if you want your unknown, if you want the unknown variable, whatever you're looking for, to be on the end, you can move those around and put it on the end so that the multiplication's in the front and the unknown is in the back. Does that make sense? So right here, what is 4 times 1,000?
4,000.
4,000. So right here I've got 4,000 R. Does everybody understand how I got there? And over here I still got 100. Right? How do I solve that?
You would divide by 4,000.
I'm going to divide both sides by 4,000. And R equals 1/40, which is what as a decimal? 1 and
Oh, as a decimal?
do it on the calculator. Huh?
0.0025. Yep.
All right, so R equals 0.025, right? Is everybody with me there? Now, here's the thing. What is rate always going to be written as? A percent. So we've got to multiply that by 100, which means that we've got to take this decimal and move it 2 places to the right, which makes this 2.5%. 2.5%.
Do you always be like dividing when you move the decimal?
When you move the decimal to change a decimal, to go from here to here, you are multiplying. To change from a decimal to a percent, you multiply by 100. This is times 100. To go from a decimal from a percent to a decimal, you will divide by 100.
So if it's always a percent, you're always going to make it a decimal. If it's a decimal,
When we solved this, it came out as a percentage answer, right? So we've got to make that decimal a percent. To make that decimal a percent, you got to move that decimal. You got to move it 2 places to the right, which is multiplying it by 100. Your answers when you're solving for an unknown that is other than, when you're solving for rate, when you're solving for R, your answer will not be as a percent. Okay? When you're solving for R, so let's write a note. When solving for R, will not be a percent. Your answer's not going to be a percent when you get to the end. You've got to change it to that percentage. Okay? Even if it's a whole number at the end, you got to change it to a percent. Okay? All right? Questions? Do you have this?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to get it. All right, so let's do the next one. Find the amount of time. So now we're looking for time. So I is 1,000. P is 800. Turn your sticky note over. Actually, don't turn it over. Flip it up. Stick it down on your paper. And then flip it up. Leave it stuck down and flip it up. And you'll be able to write on it. And it'll just be stuck on your paper while it's in your note. R is 2%. Let's go ahead and take that 2%. We're going to go ahead and take that 2%. There it is. My decimal's right here. I'm gonna move it 2 places to the left because I've gotta make it into a
Which
decimal.
number do we stick it to?
Huh?
Which number do we stick it to?
You just go stick it on your paper when we get through with it, so it doesn't matter. What we're doing is B and C right there. We're doing B and C right here.
Alright.
I'm redoing B and C. They're worked for you on the paper, but I'm reworking them so you can actually see and us go through the steps, okay? This is divided by 100. Here's my, now we're looking for time, right? P, R, T. My interest is 1,000. My principal is 800.
Interest is 100, isn't it?
Was it 100 or 1,000?
It's 100.
Oh, it's 100. I'm sorry. The interest is 100. My rate is 0.02, and I don't know the time. What do I want to do first?
Divide 0.02 into 800.
Divide?
You mean multiply?
Yes, multiply.
Multiply these. What do I get?
16.
16 even?
Yes.
So I got 16t now equals 100. Now what am I gonna do?
Divide by 16.
T equals
6.25.
that is in what? That is 6.25 what?
In years.
That is 6.25 years. So that is 6 years and what?
3 months.
3 months. Six years and 3 months.
So like on math testing when we do this, do we need a label like if it's 6 years and 3 months, or do we
It'll
just,
depend
like,
on that kind of thing. It would depend on what the answers are asking you for. What's the test asking you for? Okay. Questions? Anybody? All right, so let's do those examples. Has everybody got this? Oh, you got this? Oh, W, you got this? You got this? I can't call you by name. I think you got it. I'm not even supposed to do that. Find the interest earned. So, $300 at 4% for 3 years. So, P is $300. This is example 1. R is 4%, which is 0.04 when I divide it by 100 for 3 years. That's T. T is 3 years. Okay?
Where is
Well, it's example 1.
So what would I be?
We're
for this
still
one?
live. I'm gonna post this one so that all your parents can watch it too. So they can see my pain, feel my pain.
What would I be?
Well, I would
figuring
be,
that out.
what does that bold print right there say?
The
Find
interest.
the interest
So what are we finding?
I.
I, thank you. I would be what we are looking for. So, 300 times 0.04 times 3. And you put it in the calculator.
36.
Is it 36?
I got 48.
I'm gonna make sure I didn't put it in there wrong.
Make sure you're putting your decimal in there right.
I did. I put
Yeah, I got
400 instead of 300.
What is it?
36
So I equals 36 what?
dollars.
$36 is the interest earned. Okay? Now, let's answer this question. How much money is in the account after 3 years? How much money is in the account after 3 years?
108. 336.
You're going to take the total, you're going to take your principal plus your interest equals your total dollar amount. Okay? Because here's what happens on this question. The question gives you all this information, and then the actual question to the problem, the question is, how much money do you have after 3 years? Well, you know, because I do most of these tests and I type them, you know 36 is going to be an answer choice, and it's probably going to be answer choice A. Because I know that's what you're going to pick. But think about this. If you go to the bank, Ethan, and you put $300 in the bank, and in 3 years you go back and all you got is $36, how you going to feel? Somebody at the bank's going to probably need to talk to me, right? Your total dollar amount is not going to be less than what you put in to start with. Okay? So don't confuse that total dollar amount with the interest earned. $36 is how much the bank's going to pay you to keep your money in their bank. Okay? So I'm going to take that $300 and add that 36 back to it, and after 3 years, I'll have $336 in the bank if I don't put any more in there. If I just let it sit, which I don't do because I like to spend money. All right? You okay? Questions?
On these, how come we never found like the principal? Why do we only find the rate of time?
Well, on those examples, there you may be finding the principal on some that I'm going to give you in a few minutes to practice. But you would do the same thing. Okay? On number example 2. Has everybody got this? Going once? Twice? Example 2. Find what we're looking for. Time. So we're looking for time. So I, for this one, is $600.
60.
Yeah, that. I don't have my glasses on. I is 60. That's keeping me straight. P is 400. And R is 5. Which we are going to go ahead and divide by 100. And we don't have to do the division because we know if we divide by 100, we move the decimal 2 places to the left. So that is my decimal. But if you forget, just divide by 100 in the calculator because you got it. Okay? Now,
Wait, so if you start on time, we have to turn the percent into an acronym?
say that again.
So if we want to find the time, we have to turn the percent into, like decimal number.
Don't we have to do that for
Every
all of them?
percent has to be written as a decimal. Okay? So, I is 60. P is 400. R is 0.05. And we don't know T, right? And technically, guys, we're not supposed, to be algebraically Let's use those lowercase t's. Alright? Now, I'm multiplying these. I don't like those dots in there. I like this. That makes me happy. 60 equals, what is this gonna be?
20.
20? Do you agree? Do it right quick and tell me if she's right.
Yeah.
20? Okay. 400 times 0.05 is 20. So I've got 20t right there.
Divide by 20.
Divide both sides by 20. And t equals what?
3 years.
3 years.
Is that 20 months?
No, that's 20 right here where I did this multiplication. That's just where I multiplied that. I combine those like terms and multiply. Okay? Last one. You put $500 in the account. That $500 is what?
Interest.
And
If I'm putting it, huh?
principal.
Principal. So my P on this one is $500. The account earns $55 in simple interest.
That's
What is that?
That's the I.
That's I. So I is $55. And over 5 years, what is that?
Time.
That is T. 5 years. What am I looking for?
Alright.
Right.
I'm looking for R. So, I equals P R T. I is 55. P is 500. Do you want to put the R right there? Or you want to put it at the end?
Put it at
You want to go ahead and put the T in? You want to go ahead and put my 5 years right there and then my R right there? You see what I did? I mean, is everybody good with that? Anybody have any questions about why we did it that way? The commutative property says we can do that, okay? So 55, what is 500 times 5 is 2,500. Divide both sides by 2,500. And R equals, what's it gonna be? Y'all killing me trying to do this in your head. I know y'all are smart and all, but
0.026.
don't rely on your mashed potato brain to do this. Because 0.022. Now, are we done? No. Multiply that by 100 right now. Just go times 100.
It's 2.2.
Exactly. It is 2.2%.
So we
Because I'm moving that decimal 2 places right there. Do you have to multiply by 100 on the calculator? No. If you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because this little thing right, my little arrow right here, means times 100. Okay?
So we do the same thing to find all of them. We just multiply the numbers.
This is it. This is as hard as it is.
One.
This is as hard. Alright? Any questions? I don't know. So, this is it.